Better service may come to the Metro's rail system with new fares and a new chief. Dave Kubicek will increase the responsibility of line managers, improve accountability across the board, increase daily inspections, and encourage all personnel to keep stations and tracks free of debris and papers that create hazards. More than 100,000 offerings, mementos, and messages have reached out to the dead through this wall during its 25 years. What started as an attempt to honor the military and heal the gaping wound of the Vietnam War has turned into a shrine, not only of healing and honoring, but of hope for a new generation. The Nationals' new stadium will sport prime Kentucky bluegrass, costing more than $1 million. Fans at club level and above will enjoy spectacular views of the Anacostia River. And with sightlines developed for great baseball viewing and seats close to the action, fans should love it.
From the first local station with news in high definition, this is 9 News Now.
Power outages and wind damage. Strong winds leave a path of destruction across much of our region. A number of communities in southern and central Maryland were among some of the hardest hit areas. Good morning, I'm Barry Bullard. Welcome to 9 News Now. Motorcades may seem glamorous, but the reality is they can be downright dangerous.
That's exactly what happens in a motorcade. That first car just taps on the brakes. The second one has less time to react. By the time you go back 20, 30, or 40 vehicles, there's no time to react.
Thoma should know. He's been in an accident involving a motorcade.
First car in the motorcade slowed down. Second car. By the time it got to 4 press buses at the back, they were veering to avoid each other. They were slamming on our bus dovetailed, and another reporter, Kelly O'Donnell, went flying. She was standing in the back of the bus. I had to be 15, 20 feet. Landed in the aisle at my feet. And she was pretty badly hurt. We had to take her to a hospital.
And last year in Honolulu, a motorcycle officer was killed in one of President Bush's motorcades. Another reporter is so frustrated, she's launching a campaign against unsafe motorcades.
I think this is about the arrogance of power, especially power here across the street at Vice President Cheney. So everybody I've spoken to in Washington, when you make them aware of it, they say, oh yeah, the Cheney motorcades. The Cheney motorcades are loud, they're aggressive, we always can recognize them. They push us off the road. It's just absolutely unnecessary.
This is really kind of the last leg of the motorcade, for the Vice President at least.
Shannon Butler has had close brushes with motorcades along this Massachusetts Avenue route, but she doesn't mind.
You'll be walking down the sidewalk, eating a sandwich, walking your dog, and the next thing you know, the leader of the free world goes by, and it's like, where else does this happen?
Reporter Steve Thoma suggests motorcades would be safer if they slowed down and if the vehicles were spaced farther apart, especially in bad weather. He also recommends that volunteer drivers in motorcades be properly trained. The Secret Service and D.C. police would not comment on motorcade safety problems, so there's no indication whether officials are considering any changes. In the meantime, when you see a motorcade, the best advice may be to just get out of the way. Along a motorcade route in Washington, I'm Barry Bullard. Immigration is the #1 topic in the country. Congress is considering changing current law, and it doesn't look as if this debate is ending anytime soon.
Immigrants are being used as scapegoats for political campaigns, and we're here to say that enough is enough. The sleeping giant is awake, and we're going to be paying very close attention to these politicians and the people who fund their campaigns to make sure that they are held accountable in November and then in 2008.
We have to get control over our borders for a number of reasons, for job reasons for Americans, for national security, for the impact, the fiscal impact on taxpayers, and the impacts on our society.
One bill would criminalize illegal immigrants, build a $2.2 billion fence along part of the U.S.-Mexican border, and screen workers to verify documentation. Another bill would give the 11 million illegal immigrants in the U.S. a chance to earn citizenship within 11 years. To do this, they would have to pay back taxes and fines, learn English, and work for 6 years in the U.S.
We simply do not need to have large numbers of people, particularly unskilled people, coming into the country as we had in the past.
If you send home 12 million undocumented immigrants, you will find restaurants, hotels, construction industry, the cleaning industry, the landscaping industry without workers.
Politicians aren't the only ones debating this issue.
I think that this whole, immigration debate is kind of a smokescreen for a lot of racist white people.
Many countries in the world enforce their borders. So it's not like we're going to be building the Berlin Wall.
We only come here to get a better life, and we don't mean any harm to anyone.
And I came here in '62 the legal way.
Okay.
And I've been here ever since and doing my thing. So I think everybody else should do it the same way.
On the one hand, you have those who believe illegal immigrants are draining America's vital resources. On the other, you have those who believe illegal immigrants are vital to America's economy. The question is, will those two groups ever find common ground? In Washington, I'm Barry Bullard. And police say they know the identity of a hit-and-run driver responsible for the deaths of a Southeast Washington couple. 37-year-old Vaughn Monroe and 35-year-old Adrian Jones died early Sunday morning on I-95 in Howard County. Police say the two were parked on the highway's shoulder lane, changing drivers when they were hit by an SUV. The impact sent their bodies 40 yards down the highway.
The suspected driver pulled over, made contact with another passenger that was in the vehicle, had a brief conversation, and then fled on foot.
Left the scene?
Ran down the interstate on foot.
A third person in the car was not injured in the wreck. And dreams of the playoffs are still very much alive for Redskins fans this morning. The Skins posted a huge win over the Giants last night in New Jersey. Clinton Portis gained 126 yards and scored a touchdown. Liddell Betts contributed with a second TD, and quarterback Todd Collins completed just 8 out of 25 for 166 yards in windy Giants Stadium. Kicker Sean Susham helped out with 3 field goals. Redskins win 22-10. So here's the good news. If the Redskins win on their final 2 games and the New Orleans loses just once, the Skins will be in the playoffs. And now for a final look at the weather, let's go to Howard. Howard, how does it look for the rest of the day?
Your forecast first this afternoon, windy and cold. Partly to mostly sunny, though, highs in the low, maybe the mid-40s, with a west-northwest wind at 15 to 25. Then tonight, winds relax, clear and cold, those upper teens to the upper 20s by the bay with a west wind at 5.
Thank you so much, Howard. Looks like things are going to get a lot better today, and we certainly love that. And that is 9 News Now. Stay tuned for the CBS Morning News. I'm Barry Bullard. Good morning.